Hi, pleasure meeting you all. Myself Dr. Jagdish from Dental Lectures. In continuation with the previous session on tip diameter of various endodontic instrument, in this session I am going to discuss about taper of the instrument. Especially I am going to give a comparative analysis between a 2%, 4% and a 6% file. So let's start the session. So what is a taper? Taper is nothing but a flare. That means while we are moving from a tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument, right? While we are moving from a tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument, how much it flares from midline on either side. I repeat, while we are moving from a tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument, how much it flares from midline on either side. This is nothing but a taper. Anything above 2% is a greater taper instrument. I repeat, 2% is a small taper instrument, whereas anything above 2% is a greater taper instrument. Maybe a 4, 6, 8, 10 or 12. I repeat, a 2% instrument is a small taper instrument, whereas any taper above 2% it has a greater taper instrument. It may be 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. 2% 20 or O2 taper 20. When I say a 2% 20 or O2 taper 20, what does it mean? So, while we are moving from tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument, where the tip is denoted as D0 and the working length of the file is 16 millimeters. This is D16. What does this 20 denote? This 20 denotes the tip of the instrument in 1/100th millimeter. That means 1/100th into 20 in millimeter. That is nothing but D0 is equal to 0.20 millimeter. Then what does this 2% or O2 taper means? So while we are moving from D0 to D16, for every millimeter increase in the length of the instrument, this is 1 mm, this is 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on to 16. I repeat, for every millimeter increase in the length of the instrument, while we are moving from tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument, the flare or the taper increases by 2% or 2/100th time or 0.02 mm. That means if the D0 or the tip diameter of a 2% 20 is 0.20, then after 1 millimeter the diameter will be D1 is equal to D0 plus 0.02 mm. That is nothing but 0.20 plus 0.02. That is nothing but 0.22 mm. I repeat, at 1 millimeter distance from tip of the instrument, that is nothing but D1, the diameter will be D0 plus this 2% taper, that is 0.02 mm. For suppose if you move 2 mm away from the tip of the diameter, that is D2 will be D0 plus 0.02 into 2 millimeters, that means 2 times, that will be 0.20 plus 0.04. That is nothing but 0.24 millimeter. So if you observe at 3 millimeter, D3, similar way, D0 plus 0.02 into 3. That is nothing but 0.20 plus 0.06. That is 0.26 millimeter. So for every millimeter increase in the length of the instrument, while we are moving from tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument. In case of a 2% file, the diameter increases by 2% or 2 by 100 or 0.02 mm. It's very important point to remember. 0.02 mm. And if we consider a 2% 20, the tip diameter will be 0.20. Whereas 1 millimeter away from the tip of the instrument, the diameter will be 0.22. Whereas at 2 millimeter away from the tip of the instrument, the diameter will be 0.24. And at 3 millimeter distance, the diameter will be 0.26. Then what about the diameter at D16? Same rule. D16, D0 plus 0.02 into 16. That is nothing but 0.20 plus 0.32. That is nothing but 0.52 millimeter. So D16 will be 0.52 millimeter. So I repeat, when I say a 2% file, per every millimeter increase in the length of the instrument, while we are going from tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument, the diameter increases by 0.02 millimeter. So now let us see about a 4% 20 or O4 taper 20. 20 is nothing but the tip diameter of the instrument in 1 by 100th millimeter. That is nothing but a 0.20 millimeter. Whereas a 4%, what does this 4% mean? So while we are moving from a tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument, per every millimeter increase in the length of the instrument, it flares by 4% or a taper increases by 4%. Whereas in 2% file, the taper increases by 2% or flares by 2%. Whereas in case of 4% file, it increases by 4% or a 4 by 100 or a 0.04 millimeter. So if you observe the tip diameter will be same as 0.20 millimeter. Well, coming to the D1, that means the diameter at 1 millimeter away from the tip of the instrument will be D0 plus 0.04 mm because it is a 4% file. So the D1 diameter will be 0.20 plus 0.04, that is nothing but 0.24 millimeter. If you compare the diameter at 2 millimeters away from the tip of the instrument, 2 millimeters away from the tip of the instrument, that is nothing but D2 is D0 plus 0.04 into 2 millimeters, that is nothing but 0.28 millimeter. Whereas at D3, the diameter will be D0 plus 0.04 into 3 millimeters, that is nothing but 0.32 millimeter. In the same way at D4, the diameter will be D0 plus 0.04 into 4 millimeter, that is nothing but 0.36 millimeter. So to conclude about 4% file, when I say a 4% file, for every 1 millimeter increase in the length of the instrument, while we are moving from tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument, the taper or a flare increases by 0.04 millimeter. So please keep this point in your mind. So now let us see a 6% 20 or O6 taper 20. When I say a 6% 20, this 20 is nothing but a tip diameter, which is nothing but 0.20 millimeter. Whereas a 6% taper or O6 taper is nothing but for every millimeter increase in the length of the instrument, while we are moving from tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument, it flares or it tapers by a 6%. For suppose the tip of the instrument D0 for a 6% 20 is 0.20 millimeter, the D1 will be 0.02 plus the taper of the instrument, that is nothing but a 6 by 100 or 0.06 millimeter or 6%. So when I say a 6%, per every millimeter increase in the length of the instrument, the taper increases by 6% or 6 by 100 or 0.06 millimeter. So it will be 0.26 millimeter. Whereas at D2, the diameter will be D0 plus 0.06 into 2 millimeter. That is nothing but 0.32 millimeter. Whereas in D3, that means 3 millimeters away from the tip of the instrument, the diameter will be 0.20 plus 0.06 into 3 millimeter. That is nothing but 0.38 millimeter. Whereas in D4, the 4 millimeters away from the tip of the instrument, the diameter will be 0.20 plus 0.06 into a 4 millimeter. That is nothing but 0.44 millimeter. So when I say a 6% 20, the diameter for every millimeter increases by 6% or a 6 by 100 or 0.06 millimeter. Please keep this point in mind. So to conclude, taper is nothing but a flare. That means while you are moving from tip of the instrument towards the handle of the instrument, how much it flares from midline on either side of the instrument. It is nothing but a flare. So coming to the comparison between 2% 20, 4% 20 and 6% 20. So when we are going from a tip of the instrument towards the handle of the file, for every millimeter increase in the length of the instrument, diameter increases by 2% in case of a 2% file. That means 2 by 100 or a 0.02 mm. Whereas in case of 4% file, for every millimeter increase in length of the file, the diameter increases by 0.04 mm. Whereas in case of 6% file, for every millimeter increase in the length of the file, the diameter increases by 6% or 0.06 mm. So if you compare a 2% 20, 4% 20 and a 6% 20, the tip diameter of 2% 20, 4% 20 and 6% 20 will be the same. Why? Because this is a 20 number instrument. That means the tip size will be 0.20 mm. So when you move 1 mm from tip of the instrument, the diameter increases by 0.02 in case of a 2% 20. Whereas in case of 4% 20, the diameter will become 0.24. Whereas in 6% 20, the diameter will become 0.26. The same way, for 2 millimeter increase in the length, the diameter will be 0.24 in case of 2% 20, 0.28 in case of 4% 20, and 0.32 in case of 6% 20. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you.